hence to any part of the ocean.
As we all know, earthquakes can cause tsunamis, and tsunamis regress, leaving behind nothing but mud. Here we learn from Plato that Atlantis had turned into a mud barrier, impassable by ships. To date, it has been difficult to make sense of this statement, but if we consider that the empire was hit by an earthquake, washed over by an enormous tsunami, and buried in mud, which became the dry sand of the Richard, then this statement makes a lot of sense. The Atlantic regressed, and the entire city may not have sunk away under the waves, but was destroyed and covered by the mud of the flood. Perhaps it was the Great Flood, known to all cultures in some way.
Could it have been the site of the fabled city?
What could this place have been during the days of Atlantis? And if it was Atlantis, how did the sea regress or the land rise? The two main possibilities are tectonic movement and volcanic activity. The entire western seaboard of Africa sits on a shifting tectonic plate, and it's very possible that this shifting is raising the land, as the evidence of the shells in inland Mauritania indicates. If we were to go back 12,000 years and the land was 300 meters lower, the entire area around the Eye of Africa would be an island in the Atlantic, the main island of Atlantis. The water would fill the rings of the Richard, leaving the grand terraces of land, the design of Plato's Atlantis. There is evidence of volcanic activity in West Africa. Only about 500 kilometers off the coast of Mauritania lay the volcanic islands of Cape Verde and the Canary Islands, which give clear evidence of volcanic activity in the area. This could have aided to the rise of land within the last 12,000 years.
We needed to go back to the finer details in Plato's narrative to see if any evidence on the ground could link the Richard to the legend.
The god Poseidon found no difficulty in making special arrangements for the center island, bringing up two springs of water from beneath the earth, one of warm water and the other of cold.
We found it interesting that the locals have dug a well in the center island that provides water, and an oasis has formed around it, even though it is in the Sahara, one of the driest places on earth.
And incredibly, unlike the wells in the area that produce salt water, this one produces fresh water.
The country immediately surrounding the city of Atlantis was a level plain, itself surrounded by mountains which descended towards the sea. This part of the island looked towards the south and was sheltered from the north.
The Richard is surrounded by a plain, sheltered by mountains towards the north and open towards the south, just as Plato described. Natalis and I were convinced that we were walking on the same landscape as detailed by Plato.
The surrounding mountains of the city flowed with rivers.
The desert we see before us today once looked very different. Science has confirmed that the Sahara was once lush and fruitful, an area rich with vegetation and flowing with rivers and streams. We can still see the scars of the riverbeds on satellite imagery, which flow down the mountainside towards the Richard, but most of them have dried up completely.
There were a great number of elephants on the island.
In and around the Eye of Africa, we discovered a variety of animal remains. In particular, we were shown elephant teeth near the Richard. These finds are proof of a time when the land was grazed by large animals like giraffes and elephants, as the rock paintings near the Richard confirm.
Could this have been Atlantis?